Alright, this is Booster Gold number 7 by John Jeffries and Stan Jurgensen. This is the next part of the Return of Blue Beetle's story. What happened was Booster Gold, he went back in time and he saved his best friend, Blue Beetles, from being murdered to death. And now they have come back to the present and are gunning up against Max Supplier and his army of Big Macs. That was the threat that led to Blue Beetles' death in the first place. There is some subplot with the book's supporting cast. I didn't know them. The other issue I read didn't have them in, so I didn't know whether this is canon or what. Well, I do know, this is Ripley the Time Bandit. He has shown up in a few other reviews I have done. But here they are all talking about how Booster Gold, he has doomed the time stream by going back and altering the past. This review is going to sound pretty negative because I came to a realisation that led to an assumption about this story. But before I start prattling on about that, the dialogue and the writing is good. The relationship between Booster Gold and Blue Beetles, it feels authentic and reminiscent of their previous dynamic. Blue Beetles, he is written very respectfully. We saw that last issue. We had all 3 of the Blue Beetleses. None of them were disparaged in the script. So here we have the duo fighting an army of Big Macs, and Blue Beetles, he summons his Beetles copter and they escape, and he uses his intelligent scientific background to outwit all the Big Mac robots. All very nice stuff. Here we have some fantastic interaction between these two friends. Booster Gold, he's so happy to have his best friend back and it's really sweet. But it also starts to feel a bit mean because the dialogue along the way has hinted to it, and then this page makes it very apparent. We are actually in a divergent timeline now. That is Marvel fanboy speak that isn't even applicable to the DC universe. The present day has changed because Booster Gold, he altered the past, and what we now have is the sort of Elsie World's What If style miserable timeline where nearly everyone died. Max Supplier, he won, and all these major characters have been killed, including my girlfriend, my real life girlfriend, Canary, and that makes me very angry. But then, after realising this was a standard dystopian future type thing, not only did I feel an enormous loss of stakes, but also think I know where the story is obviously going. Blue Beetles, he'll have to go back in time and allow himself to die to avert this future from ever happening. And that really annoys us because this story, everything about it, it has been built on this foundation of Blue Beetles coming back. And it feels apparent that it was just a hoax to try and excite his fans. And I really think it is pretty slimy. But remember the Lost video game? It was awful. I might be completely wrong about this story. It is an assumption. But even removing what I think is the eventuality, it is still the case that we're doing a fairly worn out premise of having characters sent to an alternate world where things went wrong. And on that front, this doesn't deliver anything new. There is a resistance because there is always a resistance. And Blue Beetles and Booster Gold, they get a summons from the old Euro Justice League headquarters. And we have the long anticipated return, from me at least, of the sexy secretary lady from Euro Justice League. The years have not been kind to her, or at least Stan Jurgensen's art has not been kind to her. She has got messy hair and bags under her eyes now. But you know what? I would still marry her in a heartbeat. We got some world building here. All your favourite heroes have been killed by the Big Macs. Really hard to care. We're going to reset all this, and it obviously doesn't count. Subplot time here, where Booster Gold's dad, who is Cables, but Cables wearing a Kazar cosplay, he meets up with the Blue Beetles of the future from the last issue. But what happens is, the sexy secretary lady, who is now a bit aged but still hot, well, she transforms into a Big Mac, and trouble is afoot for the heroes. We have got a really one-sided fight with the Big Mac dramatically dwarfing Booster Gold and Blue Beetles in the powers department. Blue Beetles, he tries to use a magic star stick to fight back, but even that doesn't help out much. But then they are saved by the rest of the resistance, because there's always a resistance. And this time the resistance is Stephen Hawkman and Ara. So at least there's not a bunch of goofy comedy characters. And having said that, I have a feeling I will open up the next issue and Stephen Hawkman and Ara, they will die right away. And Booster Gold and Blue Beetles, they'll have to team up with Detective Chimp and Johnny Thunders. What got me really excited though was we conclude the issue with a consortium of villains. It is Gorilla Brain Man, Megadeth, who I was originally gonna call Deej after a ginger cunt that I ate in real life, and then Desperito. And this is like a team of my favourite DC villains. All you need to do is recruit Staryu and Psychic Pilot, and I am set. I think this is well told stuff, but I feel reluctant to like it at this point. You've put out a story that makes it appear that you are reviving Blue Beetles, a great character who is a fan favourite, and you're getting all these people on board for the idea, and then you're just pulling the rug from under them and revealing that you're not bringing them back at all. Other than the sour taste that it leaves in my mouth, this is okay. If it turns out I am wrong and Blue Beetles, he does get to live by the end of it, then I find this to be just a slightly odd and slightly flawed story rather than an almost mean bait and switch. I didn't know how it's gonna turn out, so I'll play it safe and rate it a 7 thumbs up.